What'd I say? It's pretty, right?
I mean, yeah, you're right. I can appreciate the natural beauty of
It's a heck
potato
of a
land.
view.
I mean, yeah, it's beautiful. But why did you wake me up at 5 a.m. to get here yesterday?
Oh, you're shooting a USPSA match.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, you're shooting a USPSA match.
Since when am I shooting USPSA matches?
It's for the channel, the camera that's looking at us this whole time that I spent 10 minutes setting up.
I figured it was something, but
Yeah,
like...
I was setting up the camera for 10 minutes.
You know I'm bad at shooting.
Yeah, but it's your first match, you gotta break the ice. You gotta get good at it. You have to suck to be good.
Whatever, I guess.
Yeah, and Charlie will be there.
Who's Charlie? You wanna squat up?
No. Who are you?
Okay. He seems nice. Gentlemen, welcome to the Goon Cave. I'm back in Washington. I shot my first ever USPSA match. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the first two stages. The first two stages were probably the worst because they were left hand only and right hand only. So the first thing I started out on was left hand only, and man, did that suck because I was at a 2-week cold start. I had no warm up really other than the Ace VR setup that Joe had. So I didn't practice with my left hand specifically, but basically how it started out with, you'd put your gun loaded on a barrel, and once you heard the timer go off, you would get your gun, transition to your left hand, and start engaging targets. It was 2 shots only per paper target in Virginia count, which means that you can only take 2 shots, no makeups. It sucked. I brought the gun up, I was very shaky, and I couldn't find the dot because I've never practiced with my left hand before. But it was a really interesting exercise to start out on because I've never done it before. And so it was like, hey, something new. Stage 2 was right hand only, but we did it from a draw and we had to load the gun. And it was an interesting thing to do because I actually had a little bit of experience with shooting with my right hand due to my broken wrist that I had for like a couple months. So I was a little bit more comfortable, still couldn't find the dot because I was not prepared at all. And yeah, so basically how we had to do it was draw the gun, load the gun, and start engaging targets. It was 4 targets on the outside, 2 on the inside, and then 2 steel straight down the center. Luckily, I did hit both of the steel the first time. We actually have video of that, which is nice because I was smart enough to click a button. But yeah, the first 2 stages were probably the worst ones. I was really slow, but you'll see that throughout the rest of the video. I'm really slow with shooting. Stage 3 was interesting. So stage 3 was my first introduction to a stage where I would be moving and shooting and reloading and all that kind of jazz. So it would start off feet on X's, and I would load the gun and then start engaging targets. Obviously crazy, load the gun and engage targets. Who would have thought? Not me. But you can see how I flubbed it in the first part because I tried to load the gun and I brought the gun up and dropped the magazine out because it wasn't fully seated. You can see me, you can hear me say something like no or oh no or something like that. So luckily I didn't think about, oh, I should pick the magazine up off the ground. No, I just loaded the next mag in and kept going. But yeah, it was a Comstock count this time, which means that you can make makeup shots. And this was my actual first time dealing with a swinging target and moving targets. So when I first saw it start swinging back and forth, I was like, oh no, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. But there was guys there who were nice enough to explain that I should shoot it once it's hit at a fully down mark, because trying to compensate and move when you're looking at a target just isn't really going to work well. I think stage 3 really taught me how to move, shoot, reload, shoot, and keep target focused. But the problem is there were so many targets up that I kind of lost track of where I was, which I learned how to do a little bit better towards the end of the match, because you can see in the video that I hesitate on the last target because I couldn't remember if I shot it or not. Stage 4 was probably the most complicated one to start with because you'd put your gun on a barrel, put all of your loaded magazines on another, pick the gun up, load it, put another magazine in your pouch, and then start engaging targets. And this was the first one where we would have to go backwards and find targets. You'd go backwards, shoot 3 targets that were behind a barricade, and then move, shoot 3 more targets that were on the outside of it, engage, I believe it was 2 or 3 more targets on your left-hand side, so you'd have to transition, run over, engage those targets, and then you would go back behind these 2 barricades set up in an L formation and start engaging steel targets, which would then flip and start moving another moving target. So a lot of us would either start at the end, or start at the beginning, obviously, and then go all the way back and engage that steel target that would start the flipper. But it kind of just depends. It's all free will, willy-nilly, whatever you want to do. But yeah, it was a lot more complicated than the 3rd stage, and I probably made some mess ups, and I think I missed a couple. I can't remember, but I don't have footage of that, neither does Joe, because we were stupid. Again, obviously.
Hey guys, Editor Joe here. It looks like Thomas forgot that we need to pay the bills, so a huge shout out to our channel sponsor, Gideon Optics. If you need reasonably priced optics, Gideon Optics has them for you. Arrowhead Tactical Apparel if you need comfortable carry clothing. And of course, last but not least, HSL ammunition. Fun fact, this entire match that Thomas shot was actually all shot with HSL ammo, and you can see that he suffered 0 malfunctions. We love their loads. We love the loads that HSL sends us. His team is awesome, and obviously they're coming at a really, really good price. Now, don't forget that if you use the code PLEASE at checkout, it tells them to keep supporting us, and more importantly, it tells them to keep supporting us.
Stage 5 was probably the most important to Joe because that was a qualifier, which means you want to do good in that if you're a USPSA member. Luckily, I'm not a USPSA member, so I don't got to worry about that. But it was 4 targets in a diagonal line that would go further down the range as they went. Apparently they made it more difficult than it actually was, and I think they scrapped the scoring on that. But either way, it was 4 targets, 2 black lines on the side, so you didn't want to shoot that area. It would count as a 0. And yeah, 2 shots per target, no makeups, and yeah, it was just kind of a test of how fast can you shoot at a varying distance. I didn't shoot fast. I'm slow. We all know this. I'm like the worst shooter here, but I still showed up and went to a match, which is important. It was a lot of moving into different shooting areas and engaging targets. Obviously, you're still going to engage targets. I don't know why I keep saying that, but you started out in this wide one, anywhere you wanted in the red zone, and you could engage targets at will. We have video of me doing this, which you then, once you finish those targets, you'd run down to the next big area, which was a larger square, and you would engage targets around a corner, and then 2 steel. Once you're done with those, run down, go to that small square in the center, and engage 3 more targets. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. The problem is I almost got disqualified for touching my gun too early, which kind of sucked, but they were, luckily enough, these guys were really nice. So they knew it was my first time, and so they were being a little lenient with me.
If you're finished, unload, show clear. Clear, hammer down, holster.
Missed a target.
So that would have been a DQ.
Oh, really?
Because you actually started to make ready before I said make ready.
Oh.
So some of these other guys would have
DQ'd me, yeah.
But it was safe, and it's a good learning lesson, right? Because I was right here with you.
Yeah.
But just got to be careful. Don't touch your gun until the RO says make ready.
Understood.
Okay.
There's one more thing I want to talk about, and that's the expectations I had going into the match. I was expecting to be humbled, get disqualified, get last place, and be talked down upon because of my shooting ability. But actually, I did not get talked down upon whatsoever. I mean, these guys were so chill. They were constantly giving me advice. I had a lot of questions, and they had all the answers that I could possibly think of. I mean, the guy taught me how to shoot a moving target, which I probably should have known, but it was good advice anyways. But yeah, I mean, everybody there was amazing because the range officer could have disqualified me, which he didn't, but he probably should have, but he didn't because he knew it was my first time. And I mean, all the guys there were talking to me about how I can be better at shooting and get better at shooting and to not stress it, because in reality, there's nothing to stress about. It's just a shooting match. It's not life or death. You are just shooting to have fun, and you're shooting to score. That's it. And yeah, there's nothing really more I can say about it because I had probably one of the best experiences you possibly could have at your first USPSA match. So yeah, stage 7 was kind of odd because you'd start out straddling a bar, which you would then run over to one section, shoot all the steel targets that were there. I think there was about 6. It was a real bullet hose. And then you'd go to the other one, which was, I think it was like 3 targets or 2 targets. I can't quite remember. But yeah, 2 shots on target, and you'd run to the center and then shoot the targets that were behind a 3-walled barricade with a little shooting window. And then you'd switch over to the other one, which was more of a barricade, basically the same setup as the right, just on the left. And you engage those targets, run up. I think there was a target on our right, which you then have to shoot, and then run down to the very end, which was yet another barricade, which there was 3 more targets right there in a weird setup. Actually, I think, yeah, it was 3 targets. And then you would go to the shooting hole and then start engaging those targets at will. We have video of me doing this, so that's kind of cool. I don't know why I went and explained all of that, but it's good to know because it pads our runtime, and that's important. My biggest takeaway from the match. There was a lot of things to take away from the match. Probably don't be too eager to try to get your gun because that can get you disqualified. Keep your safety on if you have a safety, because they disqualified a guy for not having their safety on, which obviously, sure, that makes sense, but it's kind of a little thing because a lot of people carry with their safeties off. Yeah, there was a lot of good things to learn from it. A lot of things that I learned about my own shooting, which means like that I need to shoot better. I'm very slower than everybody, actually. In fact, I got last place. Actually, I technically got second to last in carry optics, but that's only because one guy got so upset because he had his feelings hurt, so he had his mom take him home. This was like a 23-year-old man, by the way. He had his mom take him home, and yeah, so he left, and then the other guy got disqualified. So I got second to last in carry optics, and then third to last out of the entire thing. But it's given me a lot to think about, like how should I grip my gun? How should I have my belt set up? There's a lot of things to take away from, and I think it's very important for people to actually start shooting matches because it can make you a better shooter. And plus, I went out, I did the thing, and that's a lot more than other people can say. So I think I learned a whole heck of a lot.